All right, our next storyteller won in Upper J, but he actually lives in Saranac Lake. Please, warm welcome for Dan Sullivan.
My parents didn't marry till later in life. They both came from large Irish Catholic families and wanted a lot of children. But the doctors didn't think my mother could carry any children full term. They both had faith and hope. On their honeymoon, they went up to Saint-Anne-de-Beaupré in Quebec, lit a candle, had a healing. They had 7 kids in 10 years. When my dad heard one of his patients was going up there, he said, "Blow out that candle." There was a lot of love and not a lot of money, and sometimes there were hard times. I'm the 5th born. When my mom was pregnant with number 6, she suffered a major stroke. She couldn't care for herself, let alone any kids. So they hired babysitters. The first one they fired after a brother and I were locked in a closet or a bedroom. I have no conscious memory of that. Then we got Mrs. Beatty. She was like a loving grandma. I bonded with her. And I hear when my mom came from the hospital, I didn't want my mother, I wanted Mrs. Beatty. Fortunately, my mother made a full recovery. I was a shy, sensitive child, stuttered some, and even needed speech therapy. I hated when people were sick. I wanted to do more for them than just pray. That's why I love being a massage therapist. In massage school, I worked on my mom. There was an area of pain. It didn't make any sense. I asked her, "Were you ever injured?" She said, "Yes." She was in a car accident with Aunt Ann and her kids. They were all treated by an osteopathic bone doctor and got better. My mom, on the other hand, thought the guy was a quack, so she just learned to live with the pain and carry on. But the body remembers. At a spa, a massage friend gave me a massage. He said my body was so tight and tense, it was like working on a rock. We took an advanced class together, and the teacher assistant said to me, "You need a lot of work." By now, I had had hundreds of massages, different types of body work and energy work. Whatever was inside me was deep in the bones. How I felt and how I moved or didn't move, that was just hardwired. When I danced, I used to dance like the Tin Man. I had lots of friends over the years try and teach me how to swivel my hips. They just didn't work that way. Then one day, I received in the mail a flyer about a conference called Touching the Spirit. Zero balancing can be described like a massage through clothing, like acupuncture without needles, and talk therapy without saying a word. I went to the conference. Fritz Smith, the founder, shared, "Our natural state is health and happiness." Everyone there smiled. It was intoxicating. I didn't know what they were on, I just knew I wanted more. At my first core class, I was selected to be the demo. That means the teacher gave me a full zero balancing session. My body melted. Stress and tension just dissolved. It was like a weight had been lifted. At that time, I decided I wanted to become a practitioner. A couple years later, I met with licensed acupuncturist Lisa Berger. She was zero balancing faculty. She agreed to be my mentor. I took classes, wrote up case studies, joined a study group. When I was finally confident enough to work on her, it wasn't up to par. I didn't pass. I took another class. My body mechanics and technique improved. The next time I worked on her, I passed. I just needed one more faculty to pass me. I met with Larry Adams, longtime teacher. He could sense my nervousness, knew I had been practicing for a while, and agreed to pass me on one condition. that I would continue to take more classes, and that I did. That weekend, I became the 478th certified practitioner in 2008. During the pandemic, all in-person classes ended. What was going to happen with zero balancing? I knew the mistakes I made and wanted to help others become practitioners. A 9-month program emerged. Again, it was a lot of effort, but I passed. I'm now one of 5 certified practitioners in New York State. I've traveled over 32,000 miles and taken 400 continuing education units. Thank you, Fritz, for being a pioneer of integrative medicine, for balancing mind, body, spirit, and emotion. Today is today, and I'm glad it's today.